So this is a re-recording of a video that I did a little bit ago that for some reason had no sound. It wasn't a violation by TikTok because I didn't have a violation and it wasn't marked as if the sound was taken away. So I'm re-recording it. What I had seen was a video by a creator that was either a Trump supporter or a MAGA Republican who said that if you vote for somebody who's pro-choice and who says they're going to restore Roe v. Wade, that it is a scam because they can't do that because the Supreme Court said that there's no constitutional protection for abortion, therefore it's a state's decision, and then said, well, the 10th Amendment says powers granted to the states or whatever are not granted to the federal government or something like that. Was their excuse. Well, here's what would really happen. Prior to Roe, there was no federal law on abortion, whether it was allowed or not. It was like it is now. It was a state's decision. What the Roe decision did was say, no, you have a right to make that private medical decision based on a right to privacy, and they allowed for abortions based on a right to privacy. Well, that became federal law because it was a Supreme Court decision. Now, if they were to pass something, if we give Kamala Harris a favorable Congress, like I think we will, they will pass a law, and that law will say whatever the number is that they agree to, whatever the number of weeks is, that abortions will be legal up to that point. And then what would happen is all of these state abortion bans that are in places like here in Iowa, where it is at currently a ban at 6 weeks, would be null and void as long as the federal law is in place. Why? Because of the supremacy clause of the Constitution. The supremacy clause says the federal government is always supreme. Period. Federal law always overrules state laws in all matters. So it doesn't matter at that point what the state law is if it becomes federally allowable. Same thing with almost anything. If the federal government allows it and says if they pass a law making it not a crime, then it is not a crime nationally. If they make a law saying it is, it is. And I know some people are going to argue the marijuana thing with some states allowing it and other states not. The thing about that is the federal government under the Obama administration basically said, well, it is still a crime. We're just not pursuing that crime, for charges. It's still a crime. So what these states are doing is saying, well, since the government's not enforcing their laws, we are allowing it. So it is not a state level crime anymore either. So if the federal government were to start reinforcing the marijuana laws, then it would be a federal crime. That's how that works. So don't get caught up in this narrative about people saying it's a scam or whatever. They're doing that because they are afraid that the Democrats and Kamala Harris are going to win in November and win big, and they're trying to scare you into not voting or to trick you into not voting or voting for their side by telling you things that aren't true in hopes that you don't understand the proper way on how things work.